What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another chance encounter.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building.
I'm joined today with Aman, and it's Shahi. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yep. Yeah, you got it right.
Excellent. Good stuff. Phonics for the win. But I got some great news here for you today, Aman. It is that today we are actually joined by my very favorite audience member. And why is my favorite audience member here? It's because this is a chance encounter where I interview commercial real estate syndicators, buyers, sellers, investors, and all that kind of thing. And why would I do something that's that silly? Well, if you've ever heard of off-market deals, they're private,
Mm,
sometimes called 506B deals. You need to
yeah,
have documentation of your prior substantive relations, or else the SEC will
yeah,
get ants in its pants. So that's what I'm up to
yeah,
on these shows, interviewing everybody, finding out exactly what they're up to. But before we get too deep into your business, Aman, do you want to say a thing or two about yourself?
yeah. I'm an engineer. So I came to this country like in 2017. I wanted to be an engineer. I had no idea anything about real estate or anything, but I always liked it. And in 2020, 2019, I got a job, and I realized after when you get a job, your life become monotonous. There's no challenge anymore. So I got into real estate, like every other normal guy, got a house, put on rent, single family. Started reading about it, got into bigger pockets. Then I realized this is too much work. It's not worth it. I want something big. So I got into multifamily last year, started learning about it, and the market was crazy. And I educated myself a lot. I started my own podcast, and I have great guests on my podcast with that. And I'm learning more from my podcast.
Mhm.
And I was an engineer guy, introvert guy, that you cannot do this because you don't learn any kind of people skill in engineering. And my podcast taught me a lot about how to speak properly. And I'm on a great journey right now. And hopefully by next quarter, I'm going to be hitting my first big deal. Yeah, that's where I am.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. So that brings me to the first segment
Mhm,
of our show here, which is the five distinct motivations. You touched on some of that a little bit a moment ago, Amon, but I got a question for you. It's
mhm,
all based on, but wait, check your eight. This is where I got to say, Amon, now, you're a technical guy. Can you see through
mhm.
the camera
Yeah,
and down there and see if the user has the that hideous subscribe button or not, or if they've already clicked on it? Because they okay, it's a stupid joke. Anyway, I do it in every episode. The five distinct motivations. How does this all work? I've talked to a whole whack of different syndicators, investors, and whatnot, and everybody has their own unique why that has a
yeah,
different face, a place, a name, all that sort of thing with them. But at the same time, I found that they fit pretty neatly into these five
mhm,
categories, and I like to go through all five
mhm.
of them in every episode
Yeah,
so that we know why people will stick through this entire deal.
yeah,
So let's do it. First one, preservation of purchasing power. What's that all about? If you already own a
mhm,
portfolio of assets and the way that you make
mhm,
ends meet, it's not from a job,
mhm.
it's from the proceeds of
Yeah,
ownership. The
yeah,
only reason why somebody is actually going to make another acquisition, there's a couple. One is if
mhm,
inflation is eating away from the purchasing power of your cash flow, it's going to make sense to
mhm.
make a new acquisition.
Yeah,
The other one is if there's signs of distress, a real motivated seller, and you can buy at a steep discount, like when there's an asset crash or something
mhm,
like that. That's not where I'm at. Where I'm at is trading time directly for wealth. And what's that all about? Well, I've got a background in tech, similar to as
yeah,
Aman was mentioning, and for me, it was CRM industries. So that's mass
mhm,
emailing. It's 5 million, 7 million emails a month, that sort of thing, for years and years and years on end. And I ended up opening up my own CRM agency and
Hmm.
building web funnels
Nice.
and having the agency for that. But when I started in 2014 working for a real estate guy
Mm.
and helping him with all his online funnels, I was watching him doing 10 transactions a month. So that's like 10 houses bought or sold
Wow.
every single month. And yet he was making way more money than I was and paying way less tax and without breaking the
Mm.
law. So it hit me. It's like, well, how can I pivot from being,
Yeah.
the tech side, high wage, high salary earner and having a very large tax burden, and pivot to where I'm getting rewarded in the form of deployed capital, aka equity.
Mm.
So that's what I'm
Mm.
involved in all of this for. That's what my motivation's about. But that's a little too abstract for
Mm.
people,
Yep.
especially if they're not very mathematically inclined. But
Mm.
a lot of them, they actually want to take control of their schedule as their
Mm.
priority.
Yep.
They want to maybe work fewer months per year, or they want to hustle hard right
Yep.
now and then fast track their retirement. So that is a perfectly decent motivation. But it's in stark contrast with this next group where they're inspired more by ambition. They want that
Yep.
generational wealth. They want to make sure
Yep.
that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job or anything like that. And so they're
Yep.
going to be hustling into their 90s just out of that
Mm.
reason. But the last one, it's different from that one because they found
Yep.
a sector of society, or maybe it's animals, maybe it's the environment, who knows? But the important thing is they've found out that there's a financial component to making a really
Mm.
big impact. And that's why they
Yeah.
make their commercial real estate
Yep.
acquisition. So, Aman, as far as you're concerned, those five different motivations there, what combination of those would
Yep.
you say describes you best?
But I would say that I come under all of them together because I'm very, very ambitious guy. Like I love working hard. Like I love working 70, 80 hours a week. And if I say like I came from a different country, yes, I I came with a dream. My dream is not sleeping on the beach all day long, drinking pina colada. I'm not that kind of a person. There are two different kind of person. One who works 70, 80 hours a week, run with a Bluetooth in their office all day long, closing deals. I'm that kind of a person. And there's the other person who I can hear you saying something.
Uh,
So
sorry.
the
Yep.
oh,
Continue.
so the other person who love sleeping on laying down on the beach all day long, resting, spending time with the family. I love that too, but my I'm more inclined towards first person. All the people I met, they told me they never met anybody who's more ambitious like me. So yes, I'm more inclined to that too. And I also learned when I got my tech job, I live in California, 35% of my salary goes to taxes, which is around like $60,000. And that's a lot. That's average more than average salary of a man in
Mm-hmm.
America. I'm
Mm-hmm.
paying taxes and to IRS.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally a waste. Like where the money is going. We all know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we got into more detail, it will be more controversial. And so that's why, like, that's why I want to help other people. Like, you can also understand, like, where you can save money. Your money is not where it's supposed to, it's not going where it's supposed to go. And you can also learn from it. It's not a rocket science. If you can do engineering, you can also learn about real estate easily.
Mm-hmm.
And those are main big reason. Yeah, we always love cash flow. Who doesn't love cash flow? And who doesn't love tax benefits?
Mm-hmm.
And those are, and if you talk about helping people, so my main goal is to in my life is to help people. Like, there's so many people in, if you could talk about Africa or other countries, like, who are dying just because of food. And my mission is to provide, like, kind of a free food everywhere, like as a charity, like in those places where people can easily get it. Because people are just dying because of starvation, and people are doing most of the crime because of starvation. And if we can do that, if we can cover those sectors, we can make a better sustainable society.
Mm-hmm.
And we every country talk about bringing peace and everything, but they only bring in the chaos. And if we can give them free food, not just free food, or just we can give them like opportunity where they can have food as well, where they can work hard as well, and I think we can make a better world. That's kind of my own goal is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's yeah, some fantastic ambitions you got there. It's a
yeah,
lovely answer.
yeah.
But the fact is, every business, including commercial real estate, they've got risks involved. And
Yeah.
so, even though we want to make this great big impact, and it's more likely when you're in this industry than it is in many others,
Mm.
the thing I need to check, it actually comes from, if you've ever been involved in a 506B deal, or one of these private off market deals, the issuer's securities attorney should have insisted that you fill out this financial suitability questionnaire. It's got all these really, really invasive questions. It's, more than most people are comfortable sharing. But there was one question in particular that I thought it didn't really achieve what it was seeming to try to find out. And it was the
Yeah.
tolerance for risk assessment. And so for what I've done is I've put my own tolerance for risk assessment question together, and it's a fill in the blanks question. So there are many popular investment asset classes, but I think blank is too risky. Aman, it could be inside real estate, it could be outside real estate. What's too risky for you?
So too risky for me, if we talk about real estate, is I don't think so. Real estate like is too much risky field if you understand it. But all you have to understand the where are you investing in. But if you're thinking you can invest in a place like East Cleveland where you end up losing your money because that place is a high cash flow, then you cannot totally depend on that. You have to understand like what kind of risk you're bringing, what kind of market you're bringing in. So you have to avoid those things. You have to learn where you're investing your money, which location, which city, what kind of jobs are they moving in. Yeah, some people talk about there's some jobs in moving to Detroit, but do you want to take that risk? And you have to avoid those things. And outside of real estate, I think investing in call options in stock market and all things that's way too risky for me, and I totally avoid that.
Hmm. Hmm.
And recently, I'm investing in a couple of stocks who does call option on Tesla or Nvidia, and I look at them every day. It's not so it's like putting the eggs in a basket and looking at the basket every day. That's more focus on that. But I am not putting too much in this. So you have to understand how much is the risk tolerance is.
Hmm.
Can you sleep good at night with that risk? You don't want to be like awake all night just because thinking, oh, I invested my $50,000 in something. I have no idea what's happening.
Right,
You
right.
need the proper information. Yeah.
Yep, I love that answer. I love that answer. And I always get different ones for the fill in the blanks. A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying it's like, oh, well, I don't like crypto because you can't eat it like a subscribed sandwich. Isn't that a great
Oh man.
segue to let you know this next part here? It's not so subtle reminder, but it tells me to pull out the Dan Does Deals Commercial Core Competency Cube, which has the 6 different
Mhm.
roles in a commercial real estate deal. Now, one of the hidden
Mhm.
benefits that I want for you, yes, you in the audience, from
Mhm.
watching this is I want to help you become more competent at communicating effectively on the
Mhm.
subject of commercial real estate deals. The reason is because
Yeah.
if you're going to get involved in these deals and you're going to succeed,
Yeah.
that communication is absolutely pivotal. So, in every episode, I pull out the die and I
Mhm.
go through all 6 sides. The idea being that
Mhm.
way you can better understand how my guest fits into these deals as well. And if you want your own copy of the Dan Does Deals Commercial Core Competency Cube, you can get yours for free at dandoesdeals.com. And like a complete dummy, I don't even ask for your email address. And that's the cardinal sin of marketing. You never, ever, ever, ever give away your freebie without getting some sort of contact information in return. But I want you to print this out in practice because I do think it'll make a big difference in your commercial real estate
Mhm.
future. So let's go through all the sides. It takes 2 minutes to finish it up. First side I
Mhm.
want to discuss is the repositioner side, which is an
Mhm.
acquisitions role. So they're looking at a whole
Mhm.
bunch of different properties and they're doing a bunch of paperwork. It's really suitable for engineers in particular because there's one
Mhm.
part of the job that's absolutely essential. There's a fancy word for it.
Yeah.
It's called underwriting. Underwriting the deal.
Mhm.
What's that all about? It means doing the math. You're doing the
Yeah.
arithmetic
Yeah.
to find out, is this property actually even making the amount of money that the seller slash broker claims it is, because there are all sorts of fun and games that they could be playing with the numbers. And so the
Mhm.
repositioner needs to look through that
Mhm.
and they need to find, how can we figure out some upside. So that's what makes the
Yeah.
repositioner job a little bit fancy as far as acquisitions go, is because they have to know how to run these businesses and they
Yeah.
have to figure out how to get those upsides. And there's a few ways. Some of them are more intuitive than others, but one of the ones that I found a little bit, what do you want to call it, unintuitive, is they always have
Mhm.
these financier relations. Repositioners always have to have extensive financier relations. So that's lenders, investors, all that sort of stuff. But a financier in this case, just to be clear, It's someone who's not on the GP team, and all that they deal with is paper and money. So they don't have any roles in running
Mm,
the business or anything like that. But the reason why repositioners have to have these vast financier networks is because if they can secure a more advantageous loan, that goes straight to the profitability of the business. In other words, cheaper
yeah.
loan, cheaper money equals business that doesn't have as many expenses. So that's one thing that repositioners are going to be up to. But the next more obvious spot is operations. They're going to
Operation.
figure out those Benjamins. Why are they going down the toilet and stopping it? But of course, there's a
Yeah.
lot more to operations than just unclogging toilets and collecting rents and mowing lawns and things like that. For me personally, when I'm involved in a GP team, my big strengths that I bring to the table, there are a few of them. One is automations through CRM systems. The other one, which I view the real enemy in this business,
Mm,
being vacancy. So if you got empty
yeah.
units, that's the real poison that's going to kill your deal. So even if you are outsourcing your property management to
Mhm,
to another third party company, like the deals that I'm involved with, which is tends to be 100 units or more, you if they cannot fill those units, somebody in the fold needs some serious marketing chops,
yeah.
get those units filled. And that's one of the things that I bring to the table. But of course, operations, there's only so much you can do. So frequently, the repositioner will get a contractor team involved to do a value add to
Mm,
upgrade the units to make the place nicer.
mm,
And the idea
mm,
being is that if you've got a nicer unit, then the next resident will be more than happy to pay more in rent than the previous one,
yeah.
and there's some baked in upside. But of course, you can only really make a big profit off of that contractor work if they keep the schedule and if they don't use subadequate parts and all that sort of thing. And if you're like me, see, I don't know if you know
Mm,
this about me or not, but I'm from the internet. So that means I need
mm,
locals. I need boots on the ground, somebody
mhm,
who can be there in an hour or two, because that won't be me. I'd still be stuck at an airport in an hour or two. So I need the boots on the ground who can be there to make sure that the contractors are
mm.
sticking to schedule. They're not,
Yeah.
sloughing, cutting corners or anything like that. The operators, they aren't giving phony photos of the property or whatever. They can get there on short notice. But when the repositioner has this place in their crosshairs, they turn around to the financier and they say, hey,
Mhm,
I got this place. Let's say it's 350 units and it's tens of millions of dollars. You don't have, I don't know, say tens of millions of dollars you want to lend us, do you?
yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
financier is going to have one burning question that I haven't answered yet. And maybe your guru or mentor or whatever hasn't mentioned it either, because they tend to gloss over this part pretty seriously in most mentorship programs. The financier is going to ask, who's the KP? Who's the sponsor? What's that
Key
all about?
principle.
That's most easily explained with this
Mhm,
little thought experiment. So you're an engineer or a physician or an
mm,
attorney or something
mhm,
like
mm.
that, and you get the idea in your head, hey, let's take over this local commercial real estate property. We all put in
Yep.
our earnest money of, like 50K, 100K, whatever the deposit's going to be, and we take it over. Cool idea, right? Well, the bank is going to insist that if you're going to be eligible for a commercial real estate deal, somebody in the fold
Mhm,
has to already own a similar asset. So if you
yep.
want 350 unit apartment complexes, you got to find somebody who already owns a 350 unit apartment complex. On top of that, you're going to need a certain amount of liquidity, which is basically what I already
Yep.
mentioned. And then among the ownership team, you need a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all those pieces, you got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So Aman, as far as you and your team goes, which boxes do you
Mm.
guys really focus on?
So every team needs to, like, I think all of them together. Yeah, that's what a team is. If you talk about, yeah, we need one for marketing, one for financial, one for repositioner. We need all of them together. That's how it works. And if you talk about any company, they all have the whole team together. Or if you don't have all team together, you can partner with other people too. You can partner with new KPs. I personally focus on what is it, like operations and capital raising. Why? Because I work in a tech. I live in California. I live in a places where there's high net worth people. I build contacts with them so I can bring their capital on the table so we can work out together. I love operations. I like underwriting too, but I'm not a fan of it, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I love underwriting. I like it, but I'm not a fan of it. And I think at this position in any kind of business, everybody has to be jack of all trades and master of none. a master of one, or you can say that too. But you still need to understand what is underwriting. If you just only focus on bringing the capital, and if you don't know how to read underwriting, and I think you need to learn that side too if you want to be in any kind of business, because you never know when you need your skills in.
Mhm.
And so my focus mainly on operations, and also on raising capital, bringing capital to the table.
Got it. Beautiful. So that brings us to the buy box. And when investors or syndicators are talking
Mhm.
about commercial real estate deals and we're
Mhm.
saying, hey, what you looking for? What's your buy box? What's your ideal property? We're really asking about three main things. First one's geography. Where is it? That means which states, which counties, possibly even which neighborhood. It's going to matter.
Yeah.
The second one is size. Now, most of my guests here on Chance Encounter, they
Mhm.
are in multifamily real estate, which is apartment complex,
Mhm.
commercial real estate. And the way that you define size when you're talking about apartment buildings, we use unit count. And
Yeah.
the reason why it's so pivotal is because you're going to have a completely different group of people taking over 10 unit apartment complexes compared to 150, 350 unit apartment complexes. So that size definitely matters.
Yeah.
Okay. But the
Yeah.
third one, some people call it class. I call it desirability because I don't like using the same word for multiple different things. And that's what class does. The two different categories are condition and area.
Mhm.
So if you're talking about the
Mhm.
condition of a building, you're talking about how old is the building, how beat up is the building, and then of course, as far as like luxuries and amenities, is it basically no frills or just have all kinds of neat stuff on the premises? So that's the condition. Whereas the area, that's talking about what's the crime rate, what's the
Mhm.
crime rate like where the property is located? What about the school
Mhm.
districts? How are they? And then, of course, there's the old trope in real estate of location, location,
Mhm.
location. What they really mean is traffic, traffic, traffic. How many people are actually passing by that property in a given day? Because that's absolutely going to relate to its value and desirability. But both
Yeah.
the area and the condition, they're ranked the
Mhm.
same way as in grade school, where you got A plus at the top, and then A minus, and then B plus, and so on.
Yeah.
So, Aman, as far as you and your group goes, what's ideal for you? What's easy to say yes to?
So we particularly looking anything above 50 units. And if you talk about market location, it's kind of funny that you mentioned location, location, location. I say it's a location, location, and timing.
Hmm.
So you need to have better timing too. It doesn't matter, like you can buy in the middle of any downtown, but if your timing is wrong, I mean, your property is wrong. Your investment is wrong. And as per my company, we are focusing on anything like B class, if you say like anything above 98, 1980s, above 50 units. And crime rate, we are not looking at any B to B minus max. We're
Hmm.
not even going any C class, because C class property, C class neighborhood, they all look good on balance sheet, but they also come with a lot of problems. And those problems is not going to let you sleep at night. You have to make sure like you avoid a lot more problems, so you and your investors can make more money.
Hmm.
Because in the end, you don't own anything, you operate it, and you operate for your investors. Your investor own it.
Hmm.
So you are the operator. You're not an owner. So stop thinking like you're an owner. Like you are operator. You're operating for them. So you have to make sure that you do better job, find better property, least amount of problems for your investors.
Hmm.
That's where we are.
I love it. I love it. I always feel like it's kind of like riding a mechanical bull or something like that, and
Yeah,
just people just take turns. You don't like you're not the boss of it
yeah.
at all. But that does bring me to the next question, which is people. And my favorite thing about commercial real estate is that because it's multifaceted, you got these different distinct
Hmm.
roles, and there's enough of them that nobody's going to be all the sides of the die for any meaningful amount of time.
Yeah.
So really what happens is people are eager to give referrals, help build new teams, but at the same
Hmm.
time, because we have our own unique skill sets, we're better
Hmm.
off helping some people more than others. Me with my social media content creation and then all this marketing and online funnel stuff, the sponsors and KPs are generally the people who I'm most eager to
Hmm.
speak to.
Yeah.
They're basically involved in more things. And the other big thing is that sponsors and KPs, they've got a foundation big
Hmm.
enough where a person like me can make a disproportionately large difference. Whereas usually when you're first starting off as a repositioner, as a local, you need grunts.
Mhm.
We're going to be putting in at least 80 hours a week, and that's not going to be me. Those locals are also great to meet up with because, after all, I'm from the
Yeah.
internet. But Aman, as far as you're concerned, if you have any 506B deals, make sure you don't mention them specifically, especially if you're talking about bringing on
Yeah.
investors. That's really, really
Yeah.
a big fat no-no. But
Yeah.
who are you looking for? Who are the best people in the audience to reach out to you?
I'm basically looking for people like who wants to learn more, not just like, yeah, I'm putting my money, double it in 3 years. That's not how it works. You have to put your own time and effort too. You have to learn where you're investing your money in. So if it's somebody's just giving you 50,000, 100 grand, and please can you double it in like 2 to 5 years? I'm not the guy. If you don't know where you're investing your money in, please don't talk to me. You have to like first learn where you're putting your money in,
Mhm.
understand the basic math. Not like you have to understand A to Z, just at least ABC. That's it. If you can understand that, we can talk. And if you have any question, reach out. I will explain everything.
I love it.
That's my main investor role is.
Okay, excellent. And then as far as reaching out goes, I'm easy to get hold of because I got this distinct last name. LinkedIn is
Mhm.
the social media platform that I'm most
Mhm.
active on. So if you want to connect with me on
Mhm.
LinkedIn, that's the best spot. But if you pull out your phone and scan this QR code right here, that brings
Mhm.
you to the FAQs page of 506BME, which is the platform where we offer to document your substantive relations with your investors. The idea being that when the SEC audits you, when you get more active or whatnot,
Mhm.
they're going to be looking for the documentation that you can
Mhm.
prove that
Yeah.
you knew your investors before you made them offers of
Yeah.
partnership. So that's what we take care of. And then that way, if your laptop falls in a
Yeah.
bathtub, then you're all taken care of. But Aman, if people want to reach out to you, I see that looks like a phone number on the screen, but is it social media, email? How should people reach out?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Aman Shahi, and you can also reach out to me on Instagram. Aman Shahi. I am Aman Shahi, and also you can reach out to my website, venturevortex.capital.
All right, beautiful. And then the last thing I have, it's actually not for you, Aman. It is for you and the audience. It's my public service
Mhm.
announcement that I always do. If you've been watching this episode
Mhm.
and experiencing
Mhm.
searing pains in your
Mhm.
eyeballs and like migraine, like it's probably the hideous subscribe button that's down there. And if you click
Mhm.
on it, that'll just go away. And the
Yeah.
best news is it's completely free. And of course, I'm biased. I want you to click on it because if enough people click on the button, then YouTube will actually start to pay for these videos instead of me. And I think that would be amazing. And as I mentioned, it
Yeah.
doesn't cost you anything. The real pay, the real, what do you want to call it? The real cost to clicking on
Yeah.
subscribe is my videos may show up on your list of suggestions, but you can feel free to
Yeah.
ignore those suggestions because I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like Aman, I appreciate you joining me today. This has been great.
I have a question to your listeners. Why wouldn't you subscribe? Subscribe it.
Exactly.
Follow it.
It's good for you. 9 out of 10
What's stopping you?
say it's good, right? Or that
It's free.
other,
It's free.
and nobody likes that other dentist anyway. So awesome. Thanks, man.
Make sure you 506B me. Any syndicators, make sure you 506B me. Oh, hey, yeah, here's my code. You got your QR code scanner? Okay, yeah, oh yeah, just hold it right in the square there. Okay, cool. And now you hit open in browser.
Okay.
Okay. Are you already logged into 506BME?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so there's my video. So now I'm already on your watch list. So when you get back to your hotel, you can find out what my core competencies are and my level of sophistication. Sound good?
Yeah.
I love your hat. Real estate's a scam. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
506BME, everybody. Hey there. Are you interested in commercial real estate deals? Would you like to build your network of investors and deal sponsors? Well, the best thing I can do for you is have you appear on a chance encounter interview as featured on dandoesdeals.com. You may know me from 506BME or as a top commercial real estate voice on LinkedIn. And if I had to think of the top factors in your success in commercial real estate, my top two would be your network and your ability to effectively explain how deals work with effective communication. The 15-minute chance encounter format, it checks both of those boxes, and they ensure that you can share your private deals with me without the SEC calling it a public solicitation. So hop onto LinkedIn. You can see my name is over here, Dan Friedenberg, and search for my name. And the best way to reach me and book that is to message me through LinkedIn. And don't worry, it doesn't matter if you decided to enter this space just last week or 2 weeks ago, or if it was decades ago. It'll be fun and easy to look good. We're just asking multiple choice questions based on your core competencies you look to contribute, your level of sophistication, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.